the war on drugs has claimed a new round of victims.
Is it black people?
Well,
it's usually black people.
No, they've always been affected, haven't they?
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, now it's fish.
Fish.
Fish, yeah. Fish have been affected.
Have they been smuggling
fish?
again?
Or is
they've been using, I can tell you that. Fish are becoming addicted to meth.
Oh,
is a thing that's happening.
Is it in the water?
Yes, it is in the water. It's not bad
They're
like
not
choices,
smoking.
like-
They're not smoking it on the riverbanks, are they? Like,
Yeah, that's true. What other? I thought that maybe they could have been dumped in a river somewhere.
yeah, man. Finding Nemo 3 is looking really weird. Finding Needle, right?
Oh no.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
So there seems to be an unrecognized ecological cost to improper handling of drugs, such as meth. As meth use rises, so does meth pollution. And that pollution is seeping into freshwater streams, directly into the habitat of millions of fish worldwide. Yes. You look really shocked. Sorry?
I just realized that because of the way that biology works with substances building up in animals' bodies. Am I spoiling this?
Is there meth in the fish when you eat the fish?
Well, I'm just saying, depending on how much the fish metabolize the meth and whether animals eat the fish, like this could, I don't know, it could build up, right?
It's like you're going to draw a little diagram like the water cycle. Like meth go in the person, meth go in the river, meth go in the fish go in the person. All the way around.
Well, we're not going to talk about eating the fish today. I didn't even think about that. I'm just talking about the fish taking meth. So when humans consume meth, they will later on excrete that meth into wastewater.
Yeah,
I'll let you use your imagination there. And the treatment facilities that we use to filter out the waste in wastewater aren't designed to currently filter out meth. They don't really think about, we might need to filter out meth, you know?
Which is surprising because they just love the war on drugs so much.
I know, you think they'd want to get it out.
It's almost as though the war on drugs isn't actually about drugs at all.
No, Corey.
Don't think too hard.
What a salacious accusation.
So the meth is being consumed by people, it's being pooped down the toilet, and then it's directly traveling into freshwater streams after being missed in the water treatment process. Dr. Pavel Horky and his colleagues at the Czech University of Life Sciences have been studying methamphetamine concentrations in the Czech Republic. And they found roughly, per liter of water, there were traces of 200 to 300 nanograms of meth in freshwater streams. So, but it seems like a tiny amount. But when you think that it's every liter of fresh water on average in the Czech Republic, it's quite a bit. However, at this stage, they couldn't tell what effect this was having on the aquatic life. So they set up an experiment. They took 120 hatchery-reared brown trout that had never been... so hatchery-reared as in they'd never been exposed to meth before. They've been basically farmed. There's definitely no meth involved in these fish.
Is that the standard definition for that term? If I was to look it up in a dictionary, never had meth.
Basically, that means no meth, and that's all that means. No, so these fish they'd never taken meth before. They're sober fish, and they divided them into two 350-liter tanks. So 120, 60 in each tank, and they were separated. In one tank, there was just clean, fresh water, absolutely no meth. It was the control group. And in the other tank, they added meth into the fresh water to equal the amounts of meth in, the local freshwater streams. So they were trying to match the same meth level as you would find locally. You seem stunned.
Oh gosh, we put just a little too much meth in this one. I guess we have to get rid of this batch. Oh no! Oh, we've got some meth left over. Well, it is Friday. Do you guys want to kick back and do a little? This is just.
I'm surprised that they just put meth in the water as opposed to like getting some of the kind of methy water and putting them in that, because it's not totally controlled.
No, it is
one's
totally
pouring
controlled.
meth into the river.
It is totally controlled, though.
Is it?
In this sense, in that, okay, so river water has lots of stuff in it. And if you're trying to test for the effect of meth, you can't necessarily. I mean, we're pretty sure it's meth, right? We're basically certain it's meth, but you can't be 100% sure that it's not something else in the river water.
So you just want the clean water plus
I
meth.
wanted lots of people to come pee in the fish tank with their methy pee.
Well, maybe that's what they did. Maybe that was what the scientists did to get
controlled, Corey, because the fish might be addicted to pee instead.
Look, that didn't pass the ethics board. Okay, so one of the scientists said, "Look, we all need to take a ton of meth, and then test the fish. That's what we got to do." And it didn't pass the ethics board, unfortunately.
For science.
I am surprised this passed the ethics board, to be fair. So we have 2 tanks. One's methy, one's completely clean. There's 60 fish in each. And they let the fish live in these tanks for 8 weeks before moving on to... So this was phase 1. They just let them live in the tanks for 8 weeks until they moved on to phase 2. And phase 2 is the withdrawal period.
Oh,
so
tragic.
It's very tragic. They then moved the fish into some new tanks. Both tanks were identical this time. However, these tanks were designed so that water would flow in from one end and out of the other. But on one side of the flow, there would be traces of meth, and on the other side of the flow, there would be just clean water.
Right.
So each tank was divided into some methy water and some clean water. And then they let the fish into these tanks for 10 days for the withdrawal period.
Pick which bed they slept in.
What do you think? What do you think might have happened?
I think the meth addict fish gathered at the methy end of the tank. Well, probably all the fish maybe gathered at the... Oh, wait. Well, are the fish who have never been exposed to meth not interested in meth?
Yes, exactly. So the control group had no preference for either side of the tank. They would just exist in any side of the water they wanted. However, the meth fish, the drug addict fish, had a strong preference for the meth side. They wanted to just huddle up on the side of the tank that had the most meth.
That is so fascinating.
Yeah.
It's interesting that meth is addictive even for fish who, well, fish are very different from us biologically speaking. I mean, they're somewhat similar, but that meth still affects them in a similar way.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, you're right, because they are incredibly different. Like, even the chemicals inside us, like serotonin, have different effects on different animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Hawkey also noted that the meth-exposed fish were noticeably less active than normal, which lowers their rates of reproduction and slows their survival instincts and stops them from doing things like foraging for food, etc. Hawkey says, drug reward cravings by fish could overshadow natural rewards like foraging and mating. Such contamination could change the functioning of whole ecosystems.
I do have an idea here, though.
Yeah.
It's not very vegan. I apologize.
Oh, dear.
However, this could be a good thing. Now, hear me out.
Okay.
Right now, we have issues with fishing, right? We've got those trawler nets that destroy coral reefs. We've got people leaving like rubbish in the oceans when they're catching their fish. We're overfishing, all of that. It's hard to get all the right kinds of fish. You always catch different kinds of fish. All we need to do is just get the fish that we want addicted to meth. And then you just have a little bit of meth in the water and you just scoop the fish out. That's all you got to do, because they'll all congregate towards the meth. So they'll basically catch themselves.
And their survival instincts have slowed down. So
their survival instincts have slowed. So it's way easier to catch them.
Yeah,
right?
So your suggestion is that we make it easier to kill fish by feeding them meth.
By getting them hooked on drugs. Yeah.
I didn't say it was a good idea, but I'm drawing from Reagan,
Okay, so but you're right. It's a way of not killing like dolphins and sharks and stuff in the process. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, you attack the demographic that you want whilst pretending that you're just going after the meth. It's a tried and true method of.
Oh well, actually, if you get the fish addicted to meth, then you can then tell all the people who object. Well, there was some drug addict fish. We had to take them out of the water.
Yeah,
they're endangering all the rest of the fish.
Sent them to
if
rehab.
they hadn't got addicted to the meth, then we wouldn't have had to do it. It's their fault, really.
Yeah.
Oh god,
it works, right?
I hate this metaphor so much.
Yeah, they're offering fish rehab at the fish and chip shop. Currently, it seems that no species has become endangered due to this ecological shift, but maybe it's only a matter of time. So how would we go about fixing this? This is where my notes end. Just thought we could discuss How could we fix?
Start
filtering
filtering
the meth.
meth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the meth, out of interest, do you know if the meth has any, like, obviously meth is not very good for a person. It's not very good for your body, as far as I know. Is it bad for fish, or do they just get addicted to it?
It seems like they just get. I mean, there's no long-term study, but it seems like they just get addicted to it.
Well, given that
It's probably bad for them.
well, it's probably bad for them it's probably bad for them, I think, in that it
In the
decreases
sense
their
that
survival instincts and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In that
So-
sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds
But,
like it's bad for them.
Physiologically, or whatever the term is, no, I don't think so. Didn't
Hmm.
find anything. But yeah, I think we just have to. I think that literally the only solution to this would be figuring out a way to filter out meth from water, because people are going to just keep using meth. I don't think you can stop people from taking drugs.
Well, no, I think the way to stop people from using meth is to have really harsh sentences for anyone that uses meth. And then
You might be onto something.
that will stop it, right? That's how it works.
We haven't tried that yet. We should give it a shot, Corey. You're right.
We should give it a shot. And in fact,
And if it doesn't work, we'll keep doing it anyway.
For decades and decades, we'll
we
just
all
keep
in
doing
agreement?
it.
and do you know what?
Aye.
Why stop at meth? Why don't we do it for everything, right? Like any drug, marijuana even. If you use that, then
a
you're going to
bloody
jail.
Genius.
You know, so long as you're darker than, I don't know, this. And Jesus.
You
Okay,
might have
let's
cracked
move on.
it. You know? You might have cracked it. We should-
Very convenient,
Try
Corey.
that.
You set the scale at yourself so you can get away with taking meth.
Whoa. I did not make the rules, okay?
You just did. You literally just did.
If you enjoyed that clip, head over to patreon.com/Sci Guys where you can find the full show. Or you can stay here and catch up on old Sci Guys episodes. Or you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sci Guys Pod to find out when we're doing more live shows.